Hello, my stamping friends. It's Dina Rico with the Creativity Cave. And I know you're going to be shocked, but I'm excited to be stamping with you again today. I love this card that I made. It's so simple. And I think the coolest part about it is that while I have it here as a Thanksgiving card, totally would work for almost anything. Birthday, thinking of you, get well, sympathy, you name it. This card, I think, will do it. So let me show you a few things, and then I have an alternative to show you as well. So first of all, I'm using the brand new cable knit sweater embossing dynamic textured impressions embossing folder, or some horribly long thing like that. But it's a new embossing folder, and as you can see, this thing is sturdy. It is hardcore. And I really like it because the dynamic part means that it creates like really cool texture. So let me show you how to do it. And I want to show you the actual, look at, I'm bringing my Big Shot out. This is serious. I just got to move my Diet Coke out of the way. Would hate to spill that. That would be kind of like really bad. So to do this, you have a different sandwich than normal. So you're going to take your multi-purpose platform, or Big Short. This is the new Big Shot platform, but if you have the old multi-purpose with all the tabs, you're just going to put it on tab 1 like usual. Okay, and that's the tab you always do your embossing folders on. And then you're going to put your paper inside of the folder, and I want the cables to go this way. P.S. Did you know that I knit? So this is like extra cool because it's like knitting in a folder. I really like it. All right, and then last but not least, you're going to put one piece of plastic on. So because that folder is so thick, you're going to get rid of one whole piece of cutting plastic. So normally we always put folders between 2 pieces of cutting plastic, just one for this folder. Okay, so then when I crank it through, and by the way, whenever you're doing Big Shot work, if you're cranking the Big Shot and it does not want to turn, something's wrong. Either your plates are a little bit off kilter, like for instance, do you see how my plate is crooked here? Then at a certain point, it's not going to fit through the Big Shot, and then it's going to either stop or just, it won't go through initially. Or you have the wrong sandwich, which is often the case. Never ever force anything through your Big Shot. If it won't go, there's probably a reason. Okay, so now when we open this up, let me get rid of my Big Shot because it's totally in the way. Okay, when we open this up, yay, you can see that this is like a very dimensional kind of thing. I hope you can appreciate all of the texture and dimension in this one single folder. How cool is this? I really hope this is like the beginning of a new friendship with Stampin' Up! In these folders, because I love this one. I'm really hoping there'll be more coming. So anyway, I just love this. And what I think is really cool about this is, of course, it is actually in something with Christmas, but I think it totally works with fall and any other season we're wearing a sweater for. Okay. And can you just say ugly Christmas sweater? Hello, we're going to be making it. I know it. Just wait for it. It's coming. Okay, so here is my awesome, super cool, I love it background. And then I'm going to take some of the new foil sheets. And this is copper. I shouldn't say new foil sheets. I've already had gold and silver, but now we have copper because copper is awesome. And we kind of have a whole copper thing going on that's new. And I've got my foil sheet. And then what I'm going to do is adhere it to this. But as you might know, I can be a little bit of a stickler about certain things. It seems to me to be kind of a sacrilege to cut or to cover up that entire sheet. So what I'm going to do is cut the center out. Okay, to do that, I'm going to put I'll scooch this down so you can see it a little better. I'm going to put my paper cutter and my cutting blade on the 1/2 inch, and then I lined it up in here on this is the 1/2 inch mark. And then I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to go down to a 1/2 inch, which in this case is about the 4 3/4 mark. Now this does not have to be exactly exact, but it helps. And then you can kind of feel that you're in the vicinity with your blade. It kind of falls into the cut you already made. And Then, when I'm done with this, here's the beauty of the whole system, is you have this lovely piece right here that you can do whatever you want to do with. And in my case, I'm going to use it to emboss. Now, the reason I didn't just emboss my leaf and then put it on or run it through the Big Shot, to cut it out, is because I want to make sure that I don't spoil my foil. I mean, it's only logical, right? I'll explain what I mean in just a minute. Okay, so this fits perfectly on top, and then nobody is the wiser that you have fooled everyone. Now, the only kind of paper I do this on is the somewhat spendier foil paper. If you had foil paper, glimmer paper. And I say spendy, it's not like it is $100 a sheet, but it's not exactly super cheap. And of course, we got into this hobby to save money. And I know all of you have saved so much money on card making since you started making your cards. I hope you're laughing right along with me. I've never spent more on card making or sending cards, to be honest. But I also have saved a lot of money on therapy. I'm just saying. Okay, now I have mounted this. I'm going to also mount it to just a regular piece of, or a half sheet of very vanilla cardstock. And by the way, all the supplies and dimensions of all the stuff that I'm using is going to be on my blog post, and the link is in the description of this video. Okay, now, but before I mount that though, I want to do one other thing, and that is I want to add some of my copper metallic thread, which of course you don't see. I just had it in my hands a minute ago, and it is missing in action because that is just how things go. Here we go. Whenever I shoot a video, I mean, it's always right. I mean, it was just off screen a couple, like a foot away. All right, I put a little fast fuse on the back, and then I'm just going to stick the end of my copper thread at the bottom, and then I'm just going to wrap this around a few times. And I think it adds kind of a cool little touch. Of course, we have a little snarl here. Let me see what I can do about that. Haha. And then I will just put the end in the fast fuse again to adhere it down, and then I'll trim my edge. And then we'll put the whole thing adhered onto our card. Okay. Like so. Okay, so there is that. Now let's get to the embossing part. Now this is not complicated, but let me just show you what I did. So I have the piece that was in the center of my foil. I'm going to use my embossing buddy because that is like a gift from God above who loves us and wants us to emboss nicely. Seriously. And then I'm going to take my stamp and my Versamark pad. So I'm using the Vintage Leaves. I swear we used to have a stamp set called Lovely Leaves. Vintage Leaves. So pretty. I love this. I think part of why I like this set so much is in a former life, I was a high school biology teacher. And I like nature-y things. Okay, so I put my embossing buddy down so that I don't get weird flecks of embossing powder. Now, this foil paper is smooth and slippery, so you want to be careful, or you could slide your stamp right across the side. We don't want that, so I'm just going to stamp it down firmly and lift up. Lovely. Okay, then I'm going to take my copper embossing folder. This would be powder. Okay, and I will grab some of this and then put it on here. Okay, like so. And then heat it. Now, one thing I will tell you from personal experience is that if you heat it too close, it gets too hot, it will kind of bubble. So normally I would go a little closer, but I'm going to be kind of conservative this time around. And I'm trying to show you that I'm not quite as close as I normally am. And I think the other thing is because this is foil, it's got a little metallicness to it. And I don't know that there's metal in the paper per se, but there's something different about this. So it might melt or heat up a little differently than if it were just regular cardstock. And maybe there is like a crazy skinny bit of, I don't know, whatever. Because I impressed you with the fact that I used to be a high school biology teacher, but now I'm going to depress you with my lack of knowledge of stamping. I don't know what's in it. But here's what happened when I heated it up too much. The paper literally separated from the foil of the actual cardstock, and it created this weird bubbly thing, which of course drives me nuts. It's like in this little area there was like have you ever made a pizza and then there's a bubble in your crust? That's what it reminds me of. So of course that drove me crazy, and it wouldn't really completely go away, so I couldn't use it on my card. But now I can use this. So I'm going to cut this out. I'll be right back. Okay, so I cut I almost said flower, my maple leaf out. I'm going to pop it up with some dimensionals because you know it would be like insanity if I didn't have some dimensionals on the back of my stuff. I mean, really, what's a card if it's not popped up somewhere? And then to just finish this off, I will place it right on here. I stamped and embossed with sympathy, and I will use my triple banner punch to punch. This is not right. I hope you can appreciate this. I put it in wrong. I'm having visions of Michael Scott saying that's what she said. I apologize. I can't help myself. I've been watching The Office. Okay. So I'm using my handy dandy Post-it extender so that I can reach my cardstock in here correctly, so that I can center up my cut. And then there I have my with sympathy. Of course, this I can also pop up on top of my leaf as well so that it looks really nice and classy. Because after all, it is a sympathy card. You want to be classy and when you're making sympathy cards. I mean, don't you think? It's kind of where you want your best work to shine, I think. Anyway, there it is. So isn't that pretty? And I just love the little touch of the copper thread. I just think it really looks awesome. Now, one more thing that I was thinking might be kind of fun is I embossed another piece. Uh-oh, I hope I didn't lose it. Here we go. I had embossed another piece of cardstock, this time with the woodland texture embossing folder. You might remember this one from last year. It was so popular. And I have one more leaf here. But it kind of killed me that there's no spritzing on here anywhere. So I was trying to think of how I could do spritzing with embossing. And I couldn't, to be honest, really kind of come up with anything. So we're going to just try something here and see if it works. And it might not work, and it might be a complete miserable failure, but at least we tried, right? So I'm thinking if we take a little bit of glue, and actually this was a technique I showed, gosh, probably a year ago or so. I did it with glitter, but let's see if it'll work with not glitter. How do you like that? So what I'm going to do is I have this old crappy brush. This is kind of a firm bristle brush. And then I'm going to take, ooh, I know, this is perfect. I'm taking a clear, this is one of our clear envelopes, just anything really would work. Clear envelope, and then I'm going to, I don't have a spritzer. Oh no, maybe I do have a spritzer. I think it's empty. Or no, maybe it's totally full. Let's see. It's either empty or full. I can't tell. I'm thinking it's empty. Don't you love how I'm not sure? Okay, so I'm taking an aqua painter and I'm going to drip some drips of water into that glue. Okay, and all I'm trying to do is thin it out a little bit. And that might be, well, hopefully that's, you still want it to be sticky like glue, but thin enough that you can spritz it a little. I'm going to put just a touch more glue in there and mix it up. This is an experiment occurring on camera, so I apologize if it goes horribly wrong. But you never know until you try. We'll see. All right, now I'm going to clear my workspace because this is the kind of scenario where things might get all over. But I'm going to take this glue-laden brush. I'm flicking this on here, and do you see the flicks? There's a little bit on there. So now let's see if it'll stick to our embossing powder. Let's hope. I only did plastic because I didn't want the water to seep through, you know. That's why I chose plastic, in case you're wondering. Now, hopefully there won't be too much on here. Oh, there's too much on here. It might not have flicked in the water droplets I was hoping for. Okay, I'm really smacking the back of this to try and get some of that excess powder off. Not sure that it's really happening, but you know what? We're going to heat it up anyway, see what happens. I promised you an experiment, and darn it, we're going to see it through. So here's where we see what happens with that glue. It's a little thicker splatters than what I was hoping for, but it did kind of work. One thing I did not do that I probably should have done was use the embossing buddy over this. I kind of touched it all up and then did this, so I don't know if that is contributing to all the excess that I have on here. But I did indeed get myself some extra color. Now, one other thing. What if instead of this we just did like clips, or no, what's it called? Cajun Craze marker, because that sort of is a rusty color, and while it's not copper, it's closer. So we'll try that. Hold on. Okay, so here's my next version. It's going to be the Cajun Craze marker, and we'll see how that looks. Ooh, I do like that. This may be our winner, but I also did another one just to give it a try, and we're going to embossing buddy this real good. Okay, and then we're going to pick up our glue color a little differently. We're going to really pick it up, and then this time, instead of going, you know, with my finger on the brush, I'm going to take and flick it. And here's where I got to clear my workspace a little. I'm going to flick it on my pen so that I get just drips, not like a sprayed mist of glue. Okay, and I kind of think this is going to work out better. Do you see that there's just little droplets on there instead of the mist all over? So I know this video is going long, but I think this is kind of fun, and you can sort of see how my experimentation / crazy mind works when I'm working on these projects. So on trial number 2, definitely thinking the results are looking better. We could so do this on the cable knit embossing folder that I did with my original sample, and I'm already digging this. It looks cool. Do you see this is sort of boiling a little bit? This is one of the things I was concerned about with using glue because of that extra liquid, but I think it's okay. Yeah, do you see the boiling that's occurring? I'm just hoping that the powder will melt and work normal. I think it will. Super cool. So when Dina wants her spritzing, she gets her spritzing. Okay, so either that looks pretty awesome, or the marker a little bit different but also awesome. And then we're just going to add, oh, I got glue on my leaf. Here, you did not see me just wipe that off on my pants. You didn't, because it was off camera, so it's all good. Okay, so I will put these cards together and then put them on my blog post. Anyway, thank you for experimenting with me today. If there's any of these things you need to purchase, please go to my online store and order them through thecreativitycave.com. Again, the link to the post is in the description of this video, and all of the supplies I will have linked there as well. Thank you so much for stamping with me today, guys. I always love stamping with you. Bye.